Hi everyone, it's Leilani. Welcome back to my channel. So today it's time for another episode of Super Scraplift Saturday. So that is where I have a collab with Heather from Heather's Crafty Life. And once a month we choose a layout from someone in the community and we scraplift it. So this month we are scraplifting Rachel from Scrap with Rachel, and this is a peek at the layout that we are working with. So as you'll notice, it is filled with lots of circles. So in Rachel's layout, she had a grouping of 9 circles that she then added on pictures, embellishments, and her title. So of course I wanted to go with that same kind of vibe here for my layout. So I started off by using the top to a random jar that I have in my craft room that has that bunny on top of it. I went ahead and traced the top of it. It was the perfect size for these circles, and I cut out 9 circles here to start with. Then I chose also 6 photos of me and Will because I wanted the 3 circles in the middle to kind of be available for my title, my journaling, all of that. So I chose 6 pictures of me and Will throughout time. So these are all kind of like throwback photos. There's all kinds of pictures on here of different times in our lives. And I chose those and went ahead and changed them all to black and white. I wanted them to have like a cohesive feel since they're all from like totally different times. And then I decided to punch those out with my, I think it's like a 1 inch or a 1.5 inch circle punch. So I punched all of those out, and then I'm just adding them to the top and the bottom circles here in this layout. So all of the paper that I'll be using is from this Park Lane Nice Day collection that's from Joanne. So I've had this for a little while, but I do really love the colors, and the circles that I've already used on here are also from this collection, and I love how they have those kind of holographic stars on them, and I've really been like wanting to use that paper, so I'm excited that I was able to use it here for this layout. So I wanted to kind of keep that same color scheme with like the pinks and the blues, which is kind of the way that those holographic flowers kind of change color, and the background is kind of almost a pink, purple, and blue ombre. So I chose this polka dot pattern where I went ahead, did the same thing, punched out my circles, and those 3 will go here into the middle. So that's kind of the base of what I want my layout to look like, just using white paper as the background. And then I've pulled out some different embellishments here from Vicki Boutin from the Sweet Rush collection. So that's actually the collection that I will be using over on Patreon this coming up month in August for my throwback album, but I went ahead and used a little bit of my stash there because I couldn't help myself, but I have a lot of it to spare. So you'll notice that I just grabbed some doilies. Those are just doilies that I got off of Amazon, and I think I mentioned those in my last video as well, so I've just been really into using them lately, and I thought that they were perfect because they just peeked out from underneath the circles just a tiny bit, so I thought that that was kind of nice. It wasn't too much, and it looked like Rachel had something similar in her layout peeking from underneath her circles, so I thought that that worked well. So then I'm just going to use some of these foam dots, and I'm going to place 2 of them on the back of each doily, and then I'm going to layer my circles on top. So I will cut a little bit of this out so that you don't have to see me do that for each of the circles, but you get the idea. And then we will start to do all of the fun stuff like the embellishing and all that kind of good stuff. So I will say that this is actually the second layout that I worked on for this video. So originally I was working with the same collection, but I used more of the brighter colors, and I used a lot of the Vicki Boutin ephemera pack, which is like what this Loving This is from right here that I just used. I'm not going to end up using it, but I thought that I might. So for the other layout, I did use a lot of the ephemera pack, but I only documented 1 picture of Penny, and I do really think that the layout turned out nicely, and you'll see it at the end of the video. But whenever I had to redo it because almost all of my footage did not record. So I thought, well, I'm going to redo this video. I'm just going to create another video. I knew that something that I wanted to do was to document several photos. So that's what gave me the idea of documenting all of these photos on this layout, because I felt like with having 9 circles, it really was calling me to document multiple photos. And Rachel on hers, she did document 3 photos on hers. So she kind of did the opposite that I'm doing. The 3 circles in the middle of the layout, those were the ones that had her photos and her title, and then the 3 at the bottom and the top were just filled with embellishments. So I kind of did mine the opposite, and I really love the way that it's looking. And that's one thing that I love about scraplifting, is that you're getting those ideas from the community, but then you can kind of put a spin on it and make it your own. And I really love the way that that ends up working. So then you'll notice that I really wanted to like embellish that middle circle, because of course that's kind of the main thing that you see when you look on the layout. So I just put a lot of the stickers from the Sweet Rush sticker book there. So it says like my favorite, love this so much, and fun things. And then of course I had to add some of my stars. So these stars here are just from some random pattern paper that I had, and I did a little bit of mixed media on top. So I used some of the Vicki Boutin metallic texture paste with a stencil, like a little polka dot stencil. And I did that off camera one day when I was just playing around. And then I punched out stars out of that pattern paper and a mixed media paper that I had made. So I had those in my little dish. So I thought that those worked out perfectly. So I added those on along with a few gold stars just to kind of start making that diagonal there in the middle of the page. And then of course I added on a few other little stickers and things like that so far. So I knew that I wanted to add some journaling, but I thought first that I would go ahead and add some of this Heidi Swap color shine here. This is in that kind of gray color. It's the color tinsel. So I thought that I would add a few little splatters here because I was getting up from my desk for a few minutes. So I thought that those could dry. And then I came back, typed up my journaling, and went ahead and cut that out. And I'm going to add that in as little strips here on one of the circles in the center. So I really like the way that the typed journaling looked. I was kind of debating as I was working, did I want to add a label? Did I want to write my journaling? But I felt like this layout was a little busy with all the circles and with all of the photos and everything. So I thought that the typed journaling would just look really nice. So I don't think I mentioned, I'm not sure, but I wanted to do this layout as well with all of these older photos of me and Will, because in June we celebrated 11 years of dating. So I thought that this would be a nice layout to add into my project life with some of my favorite photos of us over time. So I have all kinds of pictures here of just random days together, some at home, some out, sometimes on trips. And then the 2 at the bottom are one of our engagement photos and one of our wedding photos. So I thought that that was pretty nice. So then here for this third circle on the left side that I hadn't embellished yet, I grabbed a cloud embellishment piece out of one of the ephemera packs from Vicki Boutin, and then I also added this big chipboard ampersand. So I already know that I'm going to have to pick up some more of these chipboard stickers for my Patreon because they are to die for, and I love like ampersands and arrows and all of that, and that sheet is just filled with them. So I'll definitely be picking up another one of those. So here I kind of have all the bones of my page going on. I just want to add those last little details. So I'm adding in a few more stars where I felt like it needed it. I think I do stamp the bottom, add in maybe 1 or 2 of these little tiny words here, and that is pretty much going to be it for this one. So I really love the way that this ended up looking, and this was Heather's month to pick the layout, but I really love the circle layouts. I love working with circles, and I just felt like I was really able to make this one my own and kind of create a layout that I feel like is way more me and way more my style, but still using the definite kind of sketch from Rachel's layout, which I was so in love with. So it just worked out so perfectly. So here, this is a little bonus. This was actually the first layout that I was trying to do before my camera cut out. So I just thought that I would add it here onto the end. So I did the same thing. I just used that little bunny jar there to trace these circles, and then here's where my camera completely cut out. So you'll see I did the same thing. I just placed down the circles with the foam dots, and then I used my circle punch to punch out all different other patterns from that paper pad. And then I used one photo of Penny in her sunglasses there at the bottom, and I've added in a few embellishments and some journaling and whatnot. And then I'm just using the same Vicki Boutin stuff here, and I wanted to use a lot of these die cuts. So this is where I kind of pulled some of the stuff off and just kind of placed it back down so you could see some of the things that I worked on. And I wanted to include this because I feel like this one has a little more of the vibe of Rachel's original layout, with all of the embellishments and each one of the circles being super embellished. And I really love the way that that looked as well. The only thing that I don't like about it, it's a personal preference, like I said before, was that I only added one photo to the bottom. And to me, I just personally like layouts more, especially these big 12 by 12 layouts, when I'm utilizing that space to put photos. So if I have a lot of photos on there, or if I only have one photo on a 12 by 12, I tend to print it off much bigger. So this just wasn't super my style, even though I do really like the way that it ends up looking. I don't think I'm going to put this one in my scrapbook, but I think I'm going to hang it on my wall. So I do have a little collection of 12 by 12 layouts on my wall in my craft room, and I feel like this one would be perfect to go there because it's super colorful and it has the cute picture of Penny and all of that. But I feel like the one that I did first of me and Will is just way better for my scrapbook because it kind of tells that story of our 11 years together, and it has really meaningful photos throughout our relationship. But I do love the way that this one turns out as well. So I just thought this would be a little bonus since my camera completely cut out throughout all of it. I wanted to make another video for you guys because I certainly was not going to give you like a 2-minute video. So then you just get to see both of them that I created. They're very, very similar, but I feel like they have totally different vibes here. And I absolutely love this sketch from Rachel. So as always, make sure that you check the links below and you go watch Heather's video and see what she ended up doing, and check out the links for Rachel as well and go give her a follow. I love this collab with Heather. I love seeing how we do the layouts differently, and I always love finding new people in the community to support. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a like. Please also consider subscribing, and I will be back at you soon with another one. Thanks, y'all. Bye.